Hi everyone, Paul Morbid here. Just want to let you know to make sure if you are going to take the dive to go in here and repair your own camera, any vintage movie camera, make sure you fully unwind the motor first. If you do not unwind the motor first, upon disassembly, it's going to instantly unwind and snap to a stop, becoming broken. Bolex never intended for the 8mm motors to be repaired, only replaced. You'll only have to get yourself online a broken Bolex of the same model with a good working motor. Alright, here we go. Hi everyone, Paul Morbid here, Morbid Team Entertainment. This is a Bolex P2 body. And situation here is up this way through the viewfinder. Well, not necessarily. If you're someone who has mistakenly clipped those wires right there, and some more parts are falling out, I'm going to show you what's going on there. And remember, any mistakes you make upon your camera and or person, or a camera, your person, are all on you, and it's always best to send your camera to a service technician for repair. Now, you can view some of my other videos about dismantling, removing the lens. So we've got the door open here. By this time you know that just the governor here is going to be disengaged. Okay? And we're going to remove this part easily. Okay? Everything attaches from here, going through this little area. Here. To under this plate. Let's get a closer look. Alright, closer look. So the wires come straight to this little hole and they're going to go up into this plate. So again, warning. If these two wires, the green and the red, have been clipped off, you are about to get into something that you didn't want to get into. Under here, and there's one trying to pop out right there, there are tiny springs in here. They can get lost in the blink of an eye. This little knob right here that you push down, you can actually see the spring protruding out at the end of my pencil eraser. If you look really close, you can see that. Alright, there you go. This part is a pain in the backside. So, without further talk about it, let's get into it. So, you got a lot to dismantle and a lot going on. Screws here, 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 and here. Alright, and you got to remember not let this stuff fly out. These springs in here. There's a lot of parts to this. They could be frozen, corroded, so if that is the case, take your time. Okay. So you can see down here how these parts are starting to move around. All right. Get up under it. Pull it up. I'm trying to keep this all together so you can see what's going on. Okay. There you are. You have one part here at the end of my finger. Okay. You can see that. There's a part here, the screw itself, and we'll turn it over so you can see what's going on. And this part, you got the two holes in it, one for the screw and another to be held on by this little pin right here, if you will. Okay, see, it rises up right there. So when it goes back on, come here, you. This part will be facing down at the end of my pencil eraser. All right, see that? Down. So when you put it back on here, screw is going to go on the bottom one. You have to get this little pin up here locked into the top hole and to screw it on so it looks like that. All right, so that part's out of the way for right now. Next, the other one. Hold your shutter mechanisms down, put your thumb on that. You'll be glad you did. Okay, just like that with a screwdriver. Pull it up. Okay. That one's out of the way. Next, screw here, screw here. So there's your screw. These screws are tiny. Do not have your fan on. Do not cough. Do not sneeze. All right, see, this one's tight. Okay, got that snap. Generally that's good. There's my screw. See how easy it is to get them lost? And everything's black in here, which always helps. Okay, now gonna lift up. You see this moves around. Okay, show that again. Yeah, that moves around. That's loose. Next, don't pull on this, by the way. Here, here, and here. Watch this knob right here. This switch. I'm telling you, this part is no fun. Okay, you got movement. It screws a bit longer. Okay, going to the film gate area. That screws a bit longer. And this one. Okay, see the screw. Okay. Slide this up. There you are. Good to clean this off. Some rubbing alcohol. Okay, so here you are inside. Now is where everything gets really fun. Remove this straight up. Here's your shutter. Okay. So I just moved it, so you have to remember your shutter angle. Okay. And refer back to a P2 chart with a shutter. You have a button here. Okay. It's got a spring under it. Remove this. You're going to want to clean under it. Try not to push this because the spring and everything will flip up under here, under this plate. It's always fun. Next, gently pull this up. Watch out turning this over. Put your fingers on these two pieces up top because they do come off. You turn this thing over and the parts roll out and you lose it. That's a problem. Okay. Now here's where it gets fun. Pull this plate up and you got to keep mind of the springs underneath and this switch. Okay. It's typical to have some surface rust under here. You want to easily pull this up. Move it around the wires. Try to move this around so you can see it. You'll notice a spring down here. This switch, it will fall right out with no problem. Sometimes at this point you can just simply push it back down and wipe it with your finger. You can see all the parts here, but the part in question is right up here in this tight little space. So if you've clipped those wires off and this part here has fallen out, you can see where it all goes. You want to be very gentle in here. Close up. The less of these buttons and switches that you touch, the better. Alright, so that's it. Yes, you're going to want to clean under here. Be very careful. You see how these parts get corroded and rusted and stuff like that. Again, there's no camera that is going to be in perfect shape when you get it. Lightly peel this piece up here. Kind of like working on a watch. Right. Grab hold of it. move up. It's going to be kind of sticky. There you are. All right. Pull this back and show you what you have. That's where the parts go and how they lay. Okay, you've got this little pot right here. Okay, which is essentially a mode switch. And yes, it is wise to clean up under here, take off each part, clean it. If you're one of those people like myself who want to get to know your camera, well, you're about to do it. Okay. If you're going to go in here and clean these parts, remove stuff, keep in mind there are tiny springs here. Now this one's black at the end of my pencil eraser. Okay. And there you are. Good to clean this stuff up. Be very careful. Okay. Notice how it is. Now when you start to put this thing back together, it's going to give you trouble. And that's where the adventure continues. Even more so. Alright? Now, a tip here. When you're taking this metal plate and you're going to put it back down, you're finishing everything, it should all fit smoothly. Between these two arms right here, okay, there is that black button that protrudes from up top. Look at the end of my pencil eraser and between these two leads right here, and you'll see it. Okay, so when you start to put everything back together, this should come down and everything, including this plate, should be smooth. It's going to protrude up a little bit. Okay, but not much. Right? So there you are. Now, if you're wondering how these parts here fit together, with this little button that's pressed down here from time to time, let's take a closer look. Because I'm telling you, when you start to put this thing back together, it's going to give you a fit. Alright? This part is connected to these wires. Fits right along here. It will seat properly like so. I put my finger here. See the metal chassis part right here? There is an indentation up there to stop it from protruding upwards. Alright, so this part here up top doesn't want to protrude upwards. And that's the excitement of putting this thing back together. So for me to lift that up and do so like that, I'll peel it back, seat this back down. Come here, you. There you go. Now, take a good look. You see how there's an indentation right here at the end of my pencil eraser? And this part right here sits down inside of that smoothly. Here's an even closer view. See there? That little seat down in there. So when you put it back together, here you can see how it is. There is a little right here, I'll have to pull this up, at the end of this black switch, this little knob here rather, it's angled down. Try to get some good light so you can see that. So as I move my lamp around, you can see how it's angled down there. Closer. So you see this little L-shaped part is angled down here at the end of my pencil eraser. And I'll get my pencil back out of there to give you some light. Okay, see there? It's angled down. Right down there. That's to support this smoothly. So also, if you're moving this stuff around, just to show you how delicate it is, when I pick these two pieces up here, okay, right down at the bottom that you can't see at the moment, right down in here, there's a little plate. I can pick it up with my screwdriver. Do what I can to remove it. I can tell you this, any other time it would just fall straight out. But you know how it is when you want to get something. Pull this out of here. There we go, right off to the side. Right. Here's the part. Okay, so you can see this little pin sticking out right here, okay? I want to put a little contact cement. That's what I use on the bottom of it. Turn it over. I'm about to lose a part in handling this so much. See that little knob between my fingers there? Can't see it, I'll have to show you here at the end of my pencil eraser. See, it just fell out. That's how tiny all this stuff is. If you know some of the history of Bolex, these tiny cameras, you'll find out why. I would suggest putting some glue in between there and the hole there, and then that part at the bottom, and then on the base of this thing. Okay, the support. Okay, I've applied some of my contact cement here to the end of this toothpick. I'm going to insert it in here, push it right up through there, and it's also going to be stuck on the bottom. If I can get it on there. Okay, get it off of the sides. All right, turn it around. Next is the continued fun part of getting this little piece over here, pencil, and my pencil eraser off to the side here. Okay, I gotta get it right inside of that hole. Okay, so now that I got the little piece back in there, it's time to reseat it down in here. Close up. There we go. Alright. So here we go with the continued fun. Hung on that little wheel. Can't have one without the other, right? There we go. The metal plate is always in the way. Alright, let's see if I can work it down. So now I've got to get it in the corner here. Get into my pencil eraser and just seat it down firmly. Okay. And after you perform all this, get it done, you want to do a test filming. Check for your exposure. So always after you go deep into your camera to do a test filming. Once you start taking the film gate and the shutter apart, well, then you can have exposure and timing issues. Okay. Seat this down. Just going to use this diamond file to support it up in here in the corner. Okay, so that's going to dry. So now that that's out of the way, okay, we can go back to maintaining this. Bring your switch here, drop it back in there. Okay, there we are. Nice and springy. Pull you down. Top one in there. And you see how it's going to seat down on top of here. Okay, so take note of your spring down here. It's got to be sitting flat. Watch for your fingers up here. You can move this piece around here. Just keep it flat inside, seated in its area. And again, this spring should be sitting down inside of this cavity right here. Next, here's how the shutter button right here is set up. Okay. Okay, so inside of here, pull this out. Let me put this over here. So again, you see this little pin sticking up. It needs to be sticking up like that. So I'm going to put this down here to show you. Slide it up here. Needs to be up like that. This piece like so. And that pin at the end of my finger sticking up. So that pin at the end of my finger sticking up like that. That's what you want. Okay. You gotta slide this down in here. There's the pin, the end of my pencil eraser right there. Okay. Take it, pick it up. I want to try to show you this as much as possible. The spring right here by my thumb, keep an eye on it. Closer view, spring down here, it's seated inside the cavity. Let me get this over here off camera. Okay. So I've reset this. There's a little... Do it again. Fun, fun, fun. There's that pin right there by my thumb and my finger I'm pointing at. Okay, slide this out a bit. There's for your shutter release. You want to get this pin at the end of my finger in front of the spring right there. All right. So there it is. Turn it over. And even though you get that in there, the top of this button, see that little lip right there at the end of my pencil eraser? Here. It has to get beyond this and get in seat in this little area down here. Okay. Remember, you've got an arm right here in my pencil eraser, so here we go. Push it in there. And we got it seated. So take a look at how this works. See at the end of the sliding button right here, and you see this black part. It will kind of actuate up through here and trigger it. Now here's another thing. Let's test that spring right here. Toothpick. Stick it right inside there. And you want to test that action. Okay. Take a look at the spring. You see it move? Okay. All right, so we should be set. Make sure this black knob right here, you get this little lip, this little L right here. at the end facing this way. Okay, see that right there? I'm going to get that slid in there, just like so. Pencil out of the way. See it? Now, I'm going to take this lead I want to pull this down. And fit it in there. Okay. So you see how that's going to fit? Yes, here you want to put like a thin latex pad and just glue it on top of there for these wires, anything that's exposed here. Okay. Perform that test filming afterwards. Get these wires worked into here. All right. Don't want them falling into that. Okay, so come on. Trying to show you off here. So essentially that's it. I'm pressing down on it too hard though. That's the action. And then you want to take this, hold it with a toothpick, a micro screwdriver, okay, and you want to hold this stuff just like so, get it flush, slide it back on here and reassemble everything. Okay, use a toothpick, help keep your wires up in there unless you have suspended them otherwise. Okay, that's it. The closer you get to the body, it's easier to work with. So. Okay, get that down for you. There's the action. Alright. And where are you? We got to catch you. There we go. Which you can't see. Let me put it on there for you. You see this plate? There's a little pin that comes up right here. And just pop inside that hole. Okay. Alright, next. Black plate. Take this end hole and put it over this pin. Alright. I'm making sure my switch is down here at this angle. Okay, where are you, silver plate? There you are. Get that end hole centered in that pin. Meanwhile, while you're doing this, you're having to keep all this stuff secure here and down here. Mechanisms, springs, and all that kind of thing. All right. Okay, so we've gotten this far here. So now these two, but we'll put those on last. I gotta make sure my switch right here is set down here where I had it set originally. So next, reach around, not to drop this bottom part off because it will fall off of here, just like that. It does, just slide it back under there, and this little pin goes up under this gear. You have your timing set. Best not want to, come here, piece of dust. Best not want to move anything around. How about that? Hope we got it. All right. So everything should be set. Turn it around here. And that should be about it, hopefully, for what I've got it set for. If not, we'll just move it around a bit. Should be about it. All right. So I think I've got this set for 18. All right, so I just want to get you set in here. Need the toothpick. Line everything up. Do what I can not to let off pressure here and here. Have to be easy with that. These washers, you've got a little indentation on the bottom of them. You can probably see it. You will if you're doing something like this, and just slide it right on. Next. All right. So hope everything slides in here with ease. Okay. Seems like I'm pretty well set. Get back over there. All right, next, reach around here. We're going to apply you. Lift the shutter up just a touch. Line this up under there. Okay. Shutter. That should be about right. Okay. Then you move again. Pull. Toothpick time. Trying to give it as good as angle as I can right here. Gotta lock this thing down. Tight, but not too tight, but I gotta get these things in here. Come on. Stay. Toothpick again. All the way down. Close up. And before I put those down at the bottom, let me not forget this miniature screw on top as I fight to hold this for the camera. My screw down here. Okay. Next, remember these. Remember how they go on. And these things move around on you too. So be ready for it. Okay, close up, and I'll show you. Toothpick. Move this part around and get it locked in to that little hole on top of there. Come on, you. Cooperate, please. Why don't you want to cooperate? It's so much easier when you do. Now stay that way. Of course, you can put some adhesive stuff on here. I've got that seated. Next. This is where magnetic screwdrivers can be your friend and enemy. Okay, now that I've got the other screwed in, I'm saving this last one, and this one is off to the side for this reason. Okay, I'll look this up. Line it up right with the screw evenly. And let's see what we can do to get this worked down here nicely. Okay. So this doesn't move, that doesn't move. This doesn't move, and it doesn't move that way. Okay. There we are. Okay, one thing I do want to share with you is this little box I have right here. It's for these wires that have been in question. So I've got a whole pack of these. So the wiring, to hold it in place, you can, this is adhesive tape. It's double-sided. I can use one side of it or I can use the other one. You can also use electronics tape. You've probably seen it. It's either black or white on top, a kind of a cotton, and very sticky on the bottom. It needs to be replaced. So you can cut this down and line it up inside of there to get the wires in place, that type of a thing. And also parts in here to hold it down, like up in here. The reason I didn't use it, this is an ongoing project, and I just want you to see how difficult it is to operate without your tools. Okay? So get you some of this stuff. Either the electronics tape that has cotton on top, okay, or this double-sided stuff. Here I can see the wires clearly, in case there's something going on or whatever. That's just my input. Okay, so now what you can do, of course, is open the door and get your governor, the end of it seated in there, and that type of a thing. A lot of fun. Where are you? So I just wanted to show you this. This little hole right here is where the end of the governor goes. These things can kind of fight you a little bit to put them in, but if you're fighting to get it in there, you're doing it, the installation improperly. Just remove it, do it again. End of the governor again goes in this little hole. You'll have to feed the wires up top through that little hole there. You have to pull them through. All right, but due to this being an ongoing project, I'm not going to do that. Pick your governor up and have to feel around there for that little hole. And once you've got it, it'll just slide right in. Just like that. And there you go. Check it out. And a very important tip before you start dismantling this camera or any vintage movie camera, make sure you fully unwind the motor. Otherwise, when you remove that plate, this motor has a wind on it, is going to instantly unwind itself and snap to a stop becoming broken. So number one thing you do is make sure you unwind this camera motor fully. This one, if it breaks, you just got to get a replacement. These things were never meant to be repaired, only replaced. Okay, so there they are with the Bolex P2 Standard Double 8mm camera. So remember, it's always best to get your camera serviced by a repair technician. And any mistakes you make upon your camera, roll on you and your person. If you're going to own a vintage movie camera, yeah, it's good to work on it. It's good to know about your camera and that type of a thing. And you'll learn a lot about it. But this is what it's like. It can take hours to work on this type of stuff. It really does. And a lot of extreme patience. Alright? Do contact me at the social media outlets provided on the screen. And remember, as always, do subscribe. Until next time, later.